Yo,
What's good, brother?
what's up, bro? Look, I was calling you at the same time. I forgot how to use this joint, man. It's been a minute.
It's definitely been a good little minute, man. How you been, brother?
I'm good, bro. How you feeling,
I'm here, baby. That's it.
bro? That's the most important thing right there, dog. It's been a nice one. It's been a nice little quiet hot minute, bro. Everything good on your end?
It's definitely, yeah, man. It's definitely been a nice little minute. It's good to be back.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Kay gonna hop on when after she get the baby settled and everything. I'm excited to hear how that's going for her. But nah, man, I just wanted to keep this joint loose, bro.
Let's get it.
Hop back on,
Let's do that
shake the rust off. What
and
you
get
know
back
what I'm
in the
saying?
flow of things.
Exactly. What you got going on, dog? How you been handling life over that side?
A day at a
That's a
time,
lot.
bro. That's all I've been trying. That's all I've been trying to do for real. Keep it a day at a time. I've been being hard on myself a little bit because I feel like I want to do so much more, but I got to give myself grace too. And you got to remember it's important to give yourself grace
Yeah,
because you ain't
facts.
you might not hit your mark the first time, you might not hit it the second time. So the
You
important
might not
thing
hit your.
is to keep going.
No, that's a fact, bro. And realistic is part of it, bro. You might not never hit your mark. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? It's
You
up.
just, it's all. It's in the space of moving with faith, dog. Knowing you're gonna hit that joint. You know what I'm saying? That's the part where you gotta find the fuel and the gas to kind of move through that phase. That's I'm kind of in a similar space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because faith is blind though. And a lot of people don't know that. Like they don't realize that faith is blind. Faith
Yeah, and
is
that's
like believing in something before you can actually see it or feel it. Like
yeah,
you know, I'm putting my trust in this thing to happen. But at
yeah.
the same time, you got to put that work in too. While you got your faith, you got to put that work in too.
Yeah, so I just saying go faith without works is dead.
That's the one. That's the one,
Now,
man.
now I'm kind of in the same. I think I'm in a space, bro, where I'm still learning patience. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I got all the faith in the world, but now I'm learning to have patience in the midst of everything around you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like where things don't look so when things are uncertain. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
the other side of it, when you got the when you when you when you like you said, you got to rely totally on faith, right? But now I'm starting to
Hmm.
learn that's the trick. I'm starting to learn that that's the secret right there because
Hmm.
you got to learn to lean into that. And then with true faith comes, you realize like, bro, you have no control over anything really happening in your life right now. You know what I mean? So you can kind of you have a small control. You can kind of predict the direction that you want to go into. You know what I mean? But ultimately, there's too many factors that play, too many things that play a factor in this world, man. That kind of have you, kind of keeps it uncertain for us now. And I'm learning to get comfortable in that space, right? And I'm learning not to get triggered in that space. And I understand when I know my triggers now so well to this point where I just automatically shut it down before I get to that point. You know what I'm saying?
For
And
sure.
before the anxiety starts going crazy. But no, I agree, bro. Like it's a fine line because even being in the space of knowing how to work this stuff, you still have to rework this stuff over and over and over again. You know what I mean?
It's
And the
an
one,
everyday job. Ain't no days off with it. Cause mental
yeah,
health don't take a break.
nah, not at all.
Anxiety don't take no break. Depression don't take no break. You're gonna have good days. You're gonna have bad days. But the thing that keep you pushing is knowing how to handle the bad days, so they don't become worse days.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact, bro. You gotta kind of keep them under control. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you got new going on, bro? Anything?
Nah, I just moved to my new crib. Um,
I
and
said you
I'm in
got
a
the mic up, dog.
so yeah, man. I'm playing around with this little thing. You feel me? Yeah, cause I wanna expand my content. Like I know I was already doing the little motivational videos and stuff like that, but now I want to get into a space where I'm doing YouTube videos. So I want to
Okay.
have like discussions, and I haven't completely decided whether I wanted to be like podcast based, kind of like how we doing right here, or if I just
Mm.
kind of want to have like topics where I talk and then people can just go watch it at their own leisure.
Yeah.
Um, I like the podcast vibe, but I feel like there's a lot more work to that. And then, like you said, we got this going on, so anything like that, we can just bring it here. And
Yeah. That's
then
a fact.
on my space outside of that, then I can, you know what I'm saying, do my own thing. Where it's like my TikTok content, and
Yeah.
then the
Yeah.
YouTube videos where I break down my story and stuff. I finished my book. I just haven't released it.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
finished
bro.
my book,
That's
man.
good.
I finished my book. I finished my
Congratulations on
book.
that one.
Thank you. I finished the book the end of last year. I sent it to the editor. It's edited. It's formatted. The only thing left for me to do is find a publisher,
That's
and
it.
that's it. So I was kind of like in between. Like, do I do one of the little Amazon? Because you can do it through Amazon. You can publish through Amazon, or you can like find a book publishing company to do
Yeah.
it. And but everything is so expensive, man. I ain't been having the extra money to really do it how I want to do it.
Yeah.
People talking about $2,000, $3,000, and I'm like, that's
So
crazy.
for just for distribution.
Just for distribution, they want to redo everything. They going but I mean they do. I guess they do the work or whatever as far as like book covers that look good to people.
Okay.
And just like hashtag, like
Yeah.
they get the online presence right. So when people
Yeah.
look up certain things, they can find your book because it's more than
Okay.
just writing the book and then putting it up there and dropping the link for people to go back because you need people outside of the people that you know to go back your book. So
Yeah. That's a
I
fact.
guess I understand it. I understand it. It's just yeah, y'all charge a lot.
That's
But
real
then
though, bro. That's real, bro. That's something you gotta consider.
yeah, definitely got to consider that. Then you got places like Amazon. They can do it for you, and they'll
Yeah.
even ship the book for you and everything. But it's like the percentage of the cut they want to take is like it don't make sense. You feel me? Like, do I want to give my
Yeah.
work away for that? Like, and then y'all send me like $2-3. Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah. Hey, better off going the Master P route. Sell them
man, I
out of
ain't
your
lying. That's
Yeah.
what
You
I'm
might as well go
thinking.
back.
Like,
Take it back old school, bro. The fundamentals still work and everything. I tell kids in sports that. Hey, right. It don't matter how far you get, the fundamentals still work.
the fundamentals are still there, bro.
You know what I
And that's
mean? That's dope.
what I might got to do though. Like, take it back to the fundamentals.
That's
Like I
it.
said, outside of that, I think that's pretty much it for real. Going through life on a daily basis, realizing like not letting certain things get me down. Like my car down right now, so it's been a struggle. You feel me? So n- every day, not allowing that to like slow me down or get me discouraged to the point where it's like, you know what, F it. Like I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
So that's a everyday. That's what I'm saying though. Like we going through everyday stuff. You feel me? Like
Yeah. How you balance it though? Because you gotta if you could take it, how you balance that? John?
I balance it by I always like I mean it's important to take time for myself. And it's
Yeah.
important for me to feel what I feel. Like, yeah, okay, my car down. Yeah, I'm angry. Yeah, I'm upset. I get though I accept the feelings that come along with it because I'm human.
Yeah.
But I can only control how I respond to that. So versus man, F this, F that, man, like da 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 da. It's always something. It's always this, always that. Why I gotta happen to me? Instead of my mind going there, it's like, okay, maybe this is a season or a period where it's time for you to slow down a little bit.
Yeah,
and take it for what it is, man. Just try to see where you can grow from it and what I can do to change it. So that way when it happens again, it don't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm more prepared for it. So that's why I said get into the space of like figuring out what I want to do, dropping the book,
okay,
doing the content, stuff that brings in extra income and revenue where when stuff happens to your vehicle or whatever happens in your life, you prepared for it. So
yeah,
everything that happens in life is not happening to you, it's happening for you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just been
I'm
me
gonna,
getting
I'm gonna one up you though. I'm gonna one up that G, because
okay.
like recently that my mindset been it's not happening. It's not happening just for you. You know what I'm saying? Like what you going through is also you showing somebody else how to get through something similar in a similar space. Yeah, and a lot of times we don't even know who is really for that we going. You know what I'm saying? While we going through these things. So I agree with you, but I'm gonna raise that too. You know what I'm
I
saying?
like that. I like that. And I
So
think I low key needed it a little bit, you feel me? Because it takes it because that helps take you out of the space of like it's happening to you
yeah,
and versus especially somebody like me who cares about others sometimes a lot more than I care about myself. So it kind of
yeah,
put me in the mindset of like, you know what? How can I use this experience to help somebody else?
yeah. And I think that's the part that goes. I think the peace is found too in that, bro. I think the one thing I realized, bro, is that space that you're trying to move through, like, you can always feel like
Mm-hmm.
that until you decide to downshift, like you was talking about. Say, maybe I got to slow down now. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? It start feeling unnatural. You know what I'm saying? So when you get into that
Mm-hmm.
space where you are now, you're doing the right
Mm-hmm.
thing. You sitting still. You got every reason to be spazzing out, but you got the calmness of you where the spirit is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like where you talk to God, where you figure things out, when you meditate, you doing, you know what I'm saying? You talk to yourself. However you have that
Mm-hmm.
space look for you, it gives you time to think. And so I think that
Mm-hmm.
you going through the challenge that how old are you now, bro?
33.
33. Hey, bro, you at that top. You going up that hill now where like I call it a quarter life crisis. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause you start
Mm-hmm.
realizing like, oh wait, I had these goals. Whoa, I had this to do. Oh no, I plan on
Mm-hmm.
doing this. Wait, I don't have that much time. Time is real. Your whole focus start to
Mm-hmm.
shift. My
Mm-hmm.
best advice to you in that space, bro, just be patient right now. Just sit still. You know what I'm saying? Just not sit still and be idle, but do the quiet work. You know what I'm saying? Just like, all right, don't move so much as if it's a need. Move as if you
Mm-hmm.
know it's gonna come. You know what I'm saying? Like just, and that's the part where patience works, because now we like gotta make this hurry up. I can do something to make this happen faster, but the trick is, bro, like what if it, what how you so what happens if you don't get it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
and are you gonna be disappointed? Are you gonna be an 80-year-old man because the thing that the different aspects in life hit you, the different elements and things like that in life hit you, and just happen to be what life is for your life, the hand you were played? You're gonna be mad
Mm-hmm.
until you're 95, or you're gonna make the best of the spot that you're in now and just celebrate the small wins as you get to that point. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Because you gotta realize the negative side of that is where you get mad or you get frustrated and you lose sight of what's like right in front of you, and then you lose out. You might miss your blessing or what's meant for you by being frustrated, being mad because you so focused on what you don't got, you don't see what's right in front of you. Then the
Yeah.
opportunity comes smack you in the face, and you so mad you don't even see it.
This you don't say you missed it completely.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's the part where I had like I thought when I was doing like shadow work recently, I sat back, man. I was thinking I had so much. I had like now I'm in a good space mentally, and I'm thinking like, no, bro, like I really when I sat back and think about it, like I really do have every reason just to be able to sit back in that space and be justified in it, right? But then what is
Mm-hmm.
that going to do? I know what the results of that was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I like it got to a place where you just got tired of feeling. You don't get tired of feeling the weight and
Mm-hmm.
do something about it, or you're gonna get tired of doing of the wait and check out. And we already talked about how that checking out look, either drugs, suicide, you know what I'm saying, mental break, a
Whatever.
legit mental break, whatever that looks like for you. So it's I'm learning like, bro, like life going life regardless, right? But everybody don't feel like that rat race pressure. Like it's a rat
Mm-hmm.
race. It really is, because you're not going anywhere now. I think more now it's more evident that what really holds value in society, not in society, but in our life. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as
That's a fact.
what we were created to do. And that's more in a space now where like when I'm saying that to say, because when you think about it, bro, I mean, it's you don't hear too many people pushing the things that we were pushing because the same economy is not going to be around for these kids. So what do you
Nah,
tell
not
them?
at all.
And what the economy for us looks nothing like our parents, and the economy for them looks nothing like their grandparents, right? So the kids, this generation is smart. They're trying to figure out like, man, I ain't trying to give my life all my life to that, and then have to deal with this, and then only get to enjoy this part of my life. They like, I'm gonna do what I want to do now. And the crazy thing about it is the you don't hear too many people pushing the things that we were pushing because it's in that space now, bro, where it's just like it's just in that space trying to figure it out and trying to find balance and keep that balance. You know what I'm saying? For me, let me get back on that. And it's hard, right? When you have a family as a husband, when you have your own struggles and things you deal with mentally that you got control over. You fight to maintain that control, and then you got to deal with the woes and the fights that come with having a large family and things like that, right? And then you have the space to the uncertainty of I'm in a decent space career wise, I'm in a decent space work wise, and things like that, and business wise. But at the same time, bro, it's like it's nothing coming into fruition yet. It's all like it just feels good to be in a different space. It feels good to be in a lighter space. So I'm appreciative of being in the space that I am because it don't feel so heavy anymore, right? So I'm in a space where even if I don't get the finances that I'm looking for in that space, like how else can I make my life enjoyable? How else can I maintain a good life, a decent life, not just for myself, a realistic life for myself and my family that's sustainable. You know what I'm saying? So it's in that weird space where like at 42, bro, you start to realize, like my buddy told me, he was like, man, when you hit 40, when you start to get 40 plus, you really start to not give a shit about certain things in society. You know what I'm saying? Like what people thinking, like you start realizing that it ain't too much time. It's either do or die right now. You know what I'm saying? Like in most cases, and you start to really figure out purpose versus, I guess, your greed. And I'm not saying greed in a bad way. What you want, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you can keep going with that, but it's hard for me to explain where I am today, bro, because it's not. I've been recently. I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I wasn't. I was happy to figure that out, right? Because life got a lot easier. And I never realized how hard things were in that space. And it's even starting to get into a space now, bro, where like the ADHD, even when writing the book, I realized that I didn't complete my book because it was several factors in this one. But the main one was that, bro, I would get exhausted writing the same thing over and over again and going back and proofreading and not liking it and proofreading that 100 times. You're naturally draining yourself and getting exhausted. And then you're dealing with the triggers and frustrations of the world naturally that you're dealing with just through life. And so you don't really have the capacity, the mental capacity to kind of figure out everything. Your brain can't process everything. So you get back to that space like, now, man, what's the most important part? The most important part is what I learned back when I was in the hospital. Hey, bro, you gotta really protect yourself. You gotta really have boundaries in the space of Devin, can you stop that, bro? Devin. You gotta have boundaries in the space where like you have to defend yourself at all times and not in the space of conflict. It's in the space of making sure that you don't put yourself in positions that's going to trigger you. You're going to make sure you put yourself in a situation where you're actually accountable for your behavior and the things that you have to do. And I don't know, bro. It's just weird, man. I haven't gotten to a space where I can really explain it yet. I just feel relief. So I haven't been depressed. And I was talking to my doctor and my therapist about, I've been reading up on bipolar and ADHD. And when you put that together, bro, and the struggle of it whole, like, bro, for your entire life in school, you really have to learn how to. You really got to learn how to use this stuff. I don't know how to explain it, bro. I can't even explain it. It's just, and it gets frustrating to me right now because it's like, no, I'm in a good space, but then it's like, bro, if I would have got this medication when I was 10. I was 13, bro. You know how much I would have gotten done. So it's hard for me to balance that space. And sometimes I'd be like, bro, yeah, I'm good now. But like, damn, if I just would do this shit when I was 15, 16, if I would have took it when I was 30, you know what I mean? Like 35, when I found out that I was dealing with some things mentally, that part starts to play on you. So I have to find space like, nah, bro, like I really am grateful. I'm grateful to be in the space that I am right now because I know a lot of people don't come back from this where I was.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it, it's it's that fine balance. Like, all right, boo, like things are different. Don't feel the same. You know, like when I look at things are definitely different now as far as looking around. But it's you always have that fear, like, bro, like that was serious back then. It didn't take much to get down there. So you always working ahead of it because, like you said, it's always there. And while you all living your life, forgetting about it, that joint back there doing sit ups, crunches.
Trying to fight back. You feel me? That's what I'm trying to
Exactly.
come. They're trying to come for you. I
And
feel
they
you
come
on
back
that though.
stronger.
Yeah, it's like it's back, like you said, back there doing sit ups and crunches, man. They're not trying to get strong.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Oh, he think this over. He think this over." Then you put your guard down there, going boom. Like,
Yep.
yeah, you thought it was done once. Nah, I
Yeah.
feel you though. I can
You
feel
gotta
you on
stay.
that.
You gotta stay on point, bro. It's always, and it's something I'm trying to find out. It's always something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so if you live in a space where you always triggered, and it's always something, yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I don't even say that no more. I want people that say it's always something, or can this day get any worse? Those kind of words right there, they shape the kind of day, they shape the kind of mindset that you're gonna have when you
Yeah,
say it out loud because you speak life on your tongue.
yeah, yeah,
Whether you manifesting, affirming, praying, speaking life or death, whatever you believe in, however you feel about speaking the things out of your mouth, what you say controls the life you have. So
yeah,
a lot of it is about just start there. And a lot of times you want to change, you want to try to change everything because you like, I want to be here, I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay, that's fine. And I can understand you want to do this, you want to do that. Start here.
yeah,
Change one thing. Change the one thing you feel like you can change right now. And
yeah,
that's how you talk. And that's how you talk. Start
yeah,
speaking to yourself positively. Start speaking to yourself in a way that's not harmful
yeah,
to your inner child.
yeah, yeah,
And that's kind of like what helped me, where it's like, all right, I might I've been driving, tire blow off the car or a tire go flat. Instead of be like, God damn it, every time I turn around it's something. I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be okay. I'm
yeah,
not gonna let this define what kind of day I'm gonna have. Everything will work out. And then I calm down. Now I'm human.
yeah, yeah,
You might hear me talking right now, so sometimes I'll be like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
but it's like this when you gotta check yourself, you gotta be like, you know what? Bring it back. You didn't die. Because your tire could have popped off your car, you could have went flat, could have crashed into a tree, could have been in a ditch,
yeah,
your car could have flipped. There's a whole lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas that didn't happen.
yeah,
So you know, okay, I'm still here. So that means I still have an opportunity to change the outcome of this, or I'm still here to live another day or to grow or learn. That right there alone says a lot. Like
yeah,
if you can change your mindset to that, a lot of things start happening like for you in your life, for real. And
yeah,
that's pretty much where I'm at. Like I said, sometimes my anxiety is crazy. Like I'm talking about I'd be good for months, and
and
then
out of
out of
nowhere,
nowhere, I'd be like, I was
yeah,
like, I get there breathing hard, whatever. I'm like, what's going on? But then I know what it looked like, but I ain't seen it in so long. It's like, where you come from? Like,
yeah,
where did you come from? You was gone, like, but you can never cure yourself from. It's just all about your coping skills and how you handle and how you manage it. And
yeah.
yeah,
And how real you gotta be. You gotta be real with yourself too in that space.
you gotta be real with yourself because that's the only way.
Like, you know what I mean? And that was the hard part, bro, because you know how I felt about medication, right? And
Yeah,
so, but my anxiety, bro, was getting like it was a period where a seasonal change and things were shifting, and it got stressful, and it was in the point where I was like, dog, like you know what? Everywhere I turned, it was stress. It was a stressor, literally everywhere I turned. You know what I'm saying? And it played on a lot of things I was stressed about previously over the years. To start talking about this stuff. So I had to get into a space of reminding myself, like, nah, bro, we not. This is not it. This is not the same. Um, I got to figure something out. So I started relying on the things that I put in place for emergency, right? So I always had in the space. I told my therapist, like, hey, if I ever get to a point where you're starting to get like really concerned, like have one of them like shaking shoulders, Devin, like I need you to go
Just
do
a
this.
just a minute. Miss Mason in the chat said, "Train your mind to find the good in everything." I like that. I like
Yes,
that.
man. What's up,
Appreciate you.
John? Miss Joni? Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part where we live in a society that trains you to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like society makes you, it always has you in the space of anxiety. It's always in the space of being triggered. It's always in the space of survival. And when you
Mm-hmm.
always think about the next thing, you can't think about the most basic things. And you can't, you don't have to figure out how to survive in this space. It'll just happen. You know what I mean? And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times we make things harder on us by trying to control the actual situation at hand rather than just waiting it out sometimes. And I'm not saying just ignore it. I'm saying
Right.
some
No. No.
things,
No.
you know what I'm saying? Like think of sometimes where we invest in our energy is the wrong place. And we're supposed to be investing it somewhere else to be more productive in this space or this time in this season and this time. But meanwhile, we're so busy caught up in worrying and thinking about the actual problem at hand that is the actual type of problem that is actually a problem, and we're stuck in that space. And that's kind of how trauma went. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
you get stuck in that space, bro. You know, you get wherever that trauma happens, you get stuck there, and it don't just stop in your childhood. It's funny,
Nah.
you know what I mean? Like it's funny when you get into that space and you think about it, bro, because it don't, like I said, that inner child is real, dog. It's powerful too. Like you don't realize it, and I didn't realize until I like this, during this downtime, I really figured out how damaged my inner child was. And it sounds corny, I don't know what to talk about it, but when I figured out what it was, bro, it was the things that I never really got past that happened as a child. You know what I'm saying? Like you recognize
Mm-hmm.
it and you see it, and we talked about it before. But I've never
Mm-hmm.
got. I kind of looked at it from the outside looking in, but I never figured out like, oh shoot, this is why I act the way that I act. This is why I
Mm-hmm.
respond the way I respond. This is why that anxiety feels the way it feels. The anxiety I feel now is the same anxiety I felt when I was scared as a kid, but now I'm an adult. It's
But
not
the only thing is, see what trauma is like unresolved trauma. So,
exactly.
so the stuff that you felt like your anxiety now, you felt it as a kid, but you didn't know
You
that
didn't
it
know what it
was.
was.
You didn't know it was anxiety, but you just know I'm scared or I feel a feeling of anxiousness. But after years and years and years pass, if you don't never resolve it, that's what becomes anxiety as you become an adult when certain situations happen, you tense up or you do this or you behave a certain way or whatever. It's because you got things that happen to you in your life, whether it's at a childhood, teenager, adulthood, whenever, that
Yeah,
these are things that went unresolved that you
yeah,
didn't solve. That's all
yeah,
it is. And that's why it's super important for people to like do the shadow work. Not just the shadow work, but do the work period. Because if you never and yeah, it hurt. I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. When I was doing shadow work, I cried.
yeah. That's
I,
painful,
I
bro.
was mad. I was
Yeah,
whatever because I'm like, all this stuff was going on with me, and my parents ain't understand. They ain't never see it. Then you watching TV, like man, I was watching TV the other day, and I'm looking at Bel Air. Matter of fact, I'm looking at Bel Air, and I'm just looking at how the dad talk to the nephew, talk to Will Smith or whatever, like the person that's playing him. Anyway, I'm just looking like, dang, I wish I grew up in an environment where like I seen a black male or I seen my father figure so
yeah,
open to talking about like feelings and what's going on in my life. Or I'm saying like, so we all go through these kind of like things, but you gotta resolve them. That's
yeah,
the key.
yeah.
Resolving them is the key.
I mean, but that's tricky too, bro, because you got to know there's something to resolve, and the average person don't know. uh,
That's
You
that's
know what I'm
the
saying? Like
thing.
you just chalking up experiences, not realizing that your neurological system, man, you know, is in a space where it's remembering everything. So even if it's not the forefront of your consciousness, your body still
Mm-hmm.
remembers everything about
Yeah,
that situation. So every time
exactly.
it's reminded of a situation or a danger at that, was perceived to be danger, that same
It's gonna
feeling
automatically fight or flight every
that's
time.
automatic. And that goes back to some of the things I felt like when I was a kid. You know what I mean? So it was just like and fear, like in that fear, in that space of fear. It's funny you talked about shadow work tonight, bro, because that's the part where not only was it my ADHD holding up me in the book of my process of writing my book, it also was the space that when I got to certain portions chapters, the book is done in the space of shadow work, right? So when I got to these certain chapters, I started to realize like, bro, oh, I ain't healed just off of how I was expressing and how it looked on paper. So I didn't want to express it in the spaces. So when you think about past relationships and you think about things like that, I didn't want to write my book when I expressed those things out of the pain or the anger and the frustration that I felt at that point. I wanted to go back to, no, how did we get here? How did I get there? What happened? How did that make me feel? I didn't want it to be like a blaming type of situation in the book because it's a lot of situations where I believe it was everybody was growing and maturing in their own space. So it never wanted to be. I don't think it would have been as impactful if I would have came back with a convicting hand rather than telling it and getting back to a space through shadow work, like bro. And that place is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because it is painful, and you do cry, right? And you do feel like you do start to feel a lot of the unfamiliar. The familiar feelings of that time and breakups and things like that, and it's in a space where like you can be like I'm married, I'm happily married in that space. You know what I'm saying? But in the time when you go back and you think about something that you never really got out and how you actually felt about it, and you know what I'm saying, like rather than going in defense mode and just sitting back like damn, like bro, that, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to go that way. You know what I'm saying? So and that could be a lot of different things. So it's just ultimately finding a peace, bro. Hold on. Say hi.
Hey.
All right, Shorty. Good night. So you know, it's like it's realizing that like getting through doing this shit. Yo, you okay? All right, go tell mommy. It's that shadow work is a big thing, man, because it allows you to get to a space that I dissect where the actual problem is, and then when you figure out, you know what I'm
that's
saying?
why I was saying you got to do the work because first off, once you agree to do the work, you got to become aware of behaviors or triggers or
yeah, bro. I ain't mean to stop you. I ain't mean to stop you. Hold up. Hey, Cat.
There go my girl.
Hey y'all. I got my camera off right now because I'm feeding the baby like moms do.
Nah, you good. You good. What was you? My bad. Hold up. Okay, 1 second. Let me let Cloud finish his thought. What was you saying, bro?
You know I always do that. You know I always forget.
I'm so sorry, Clyde.
No, you fine. All right, so what was we just saying though, for real though? Because I can get back into it.
I forgot, bro.
You was talking about.
I have no idea.
You have to be able to be willing to do the work. I think that's what we was saying.
That's what and what the work is. So getting down to the bottom of dissecting, like when you do the shadow work and you figure out what that actual problem is, then you got to figure what do you do with that now? You got the problem.
And that's why I was at. I was saying how like on top of agreeing to do shadow work or saying that you want to do it, you have to become aware of triggers, feelings, emotions. When somebody talks to you a certain kind of way, and you snap off. Why did I snap off? See, it's those kind of things where it's like, why did I snap off like that? Okay, then you got to go back and think. Okay, I snapped off because I felt like somebody was talking down on me. Okay, so then you take that. I'm feeling somebody talking down on me. Okay, where in my life have I felt like people talk down on me? Well, I always felt like people talk down on me as a child. Boom. That's one thing. Now, the next thing after that is, okay, what can I do moving forward so I don't feel like people talking down on me? Okay, let me set a boundary.
I'm gonna give you a step. After you figure out that there's people that's stepping down on you, you start thinking about, damn, how did that make me feel when they was talking about me then? How did I feel then? And then getting to that next part where you know what I'm saying? Because if you don't remember how I feel, that feeling will always be an unfamiliar feeling until you get to it, and you just think you're just doing it. And that when you realize that, oh, my aunt said this in a way, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I felt like that because, and then you go to a space. All right, is that my fault? Come on, shorty. is that my fault? Could I have did anything about it? Could I have stopped it? Could I have never? What could I have done better in that space? So it's a whole. It's like that when it teaches you how to brainstorm.
But what you doing? What you just said? Like, what could you have done? Could you have changed it? You don't want to get stuck there.
You don't want to get stuck there
because there's nothing you can do about the past.
My baby, stop it. Yeah, hey,
There's nothing
Chum.
you could do about that.
Yeah,
Self-awareness is a key tool to get you through and trying to get yourself past that. Like, okay, so this step one is like, it's just like a like when you go to like Alcoholics Anonymous and things like that.
Hmm.
There's steps to getting through there. And step one is what did they say? Acknowledge you have a problem. So
Right.
you have to deal with your self-awareness, and the way that you navigate through that is you look at, what is the problem, what is my part in the problem,
Right.
what is my normal pattern, what does that look like, what is the antecedents of things, like what triggers me, all those things are the things that help you put in perspective your resolution to getting past certain things,
Right.
certain, whether it be conflict or whether it be dealing with your diagnosis and trying to cope or change your behaviors. It
yeah,
always starts with your self-awareness. I think that's where they discuss like emotional intelligence and your emotional IQ. it usually
Hmm.
it usually begins in those kind of places, in knowing, if I normally get pissed off because someone says, as a female, if someone calls me a B word, am I going to get pissed off? Am I going to be like, yo, I'm black, at least they ain't call me an N-word? It's so many ways
yeah,
where, it's being
Hmm.
self-aware. Like, if I'm not a B and I know I'm not a B, why would
yeah.
I be bothered by that?
Yeah, that's
For sure.
facts. And that go back to like knowing that getting to that space is really getting to learn who you are. You know what I'm saying, at the core, right? It's when you learn who you are, somebody can call you a nigga and you laugh. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause hey, bro, like somebody can say you ain't shit as a man, and you just be like, bro, I'm just not your man at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's
For
that
sure.
space. It's just when you secure with yourself and you know yourself, that allows you to get to that space. But we got so much to dig to get to that space, like Kat said, bro. Like you gotta first of all, you gotta be emotionally intelligent, and emotional intelligence is not running around, you know. Uh,
Smacking on people.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Smacking on people just because they disrespect you.
you can't, and that's the thing that I love. I love some of the things that I try to get through to the boys that we coaching. Like, bro, you valid in being mad, bro, but what's that doing? I like so you spazzing out on the football field, its time is gone. You spazzing out because you got hit, you fumbling on the next play. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
it's just teaching you how you can how to move in a life where in disagreement and not be impacted by it and not take it in. And the same way with living life, period. We can kind of be, and when you get to a space of healing, when you're starting to heal, you can start to be around some of the things that you've seen before and at times really hit you. But when you really healed, you can face that like, hey, okay, just not make these same mistakes in this space, not go here, not go there, not say this, not say that. So it's all, if we handle it right, it becomes lessons. But the lessons are
Hmm.
painful as hell in the beginning.
Right. That's a fact.
facing it, facing yourself in reality.
Extremely painful, and sometimes it's hard. Everybody can't take criticism, or can't self-reflect and take the negatives with the positives and be honest with themselves. Sometimes everybody can't do that. Everybody can't sit through being put in front of the mirror and being told that you aren't who you think you are, or you're not as nice as you think you are, or you're not as smart as you think you are, or you're not as polite or as selfless as you think you. Everybody can't take that, because sometimes that's a conflict in itself. What? All the shit I did for you, and I'm not such and such. Sometimes
I ain't
that's a
even
conflict in
debating.
itself.
I ain't even gonna be. I ain't the old me used to get in my feelings about stuff like that. Like, who's like, you ain't never did this, you ain't never did that. It's like, you know what? Now I just take people for what it's worth, and then I just move forward because now I know how to. Now I know how to carry it with you from now on. Like,
That's it.
oh, since I never did nothing for you before, even though I know I gave you my all, or I did this and I did that, like, and I went out of my way to do it. I'm not going. I'm done. My days of proving myself to people are over. Like, okay, I didn't do that. Fine. Okay. You're know what I'm saying? You're gonna miss the relationship more than I am. And I mean that go for friends, family, whoever. I don't care. Like, I don't learn to stop trying to prove myself to people, because if you spend a lot of time in that space trying to prove yourself to people, you'll find yourself drained. You'll be so drained because you're trying to get people to see things your way and they'll never see it. instead of just accepting that, okay, maybe this person just different. They just don't understand it. They not gonna see it my way, and then you just move on. You let it go. And
Yeah,
sometimes these people come back to you in the future when they learn because everybody's path is different. So maybe they just ain't gonna. Maybe I'm not the one to teach them that lesson. Maybe they got to go through something else themselves to learn it, and maybe they'll come back to you. Maybe they won't. But regardless, with all of that, I'm gonna be fine. And I
yeah.
just learned to make peace with that. Like I'm fine with that.
And I think that's where you got to be because I think at where I'm at now, bro, it's you can't like who are you to judge? Like who are you to say that? Who am I? Who are you to prove to? You know what I mean?
Right,
Like we all have our own walks in life at this point, and we're learning to be comfortable with it. I'm in a space where it's similar, where it's more of I see it for what it is, and I keep moving. You know what I'm saying? Like I experience what it is, and I keep moving, and I keep it moving. And
right.
it's my thing. I came across. I posted something the other day where it said half of life is lost in charming others. The other half is lost in going through anxieties caused by others. Leave this play. You have played enough, Rumi. And I've been seeing these type of quotes a lot, man. As far as speaking on like a play, right? And when you think
Okay.
about it, man, life is like one big ass dress rehearsal, bro. Like everybody dresses up, wake up in the morning, throw their costume on, put that character on, go punch in, go to work, come home, go fake, and they come home and they take off all the work clothes and they
Mm-hmm.
never so. You know what I'm saying? So it's in a space where we live in a society, bro, where it's fake, bro. And I hate to
That's
say
a
it
fact.
in the sense of we live in a society where the standards are are in the toilet, right? When I say things like that, it's not on purpose. We live in a society where we duck mental illness so bad that although I understand the BBL pandemic and I understand those type of surgeries, that
The
I get it,
BBL
bro.
pandemic is crazy.
And then, but it's men going through it as well, and it's the other surgery that men are going through getting it. It's not just women; it's on both sides of it, bro. And we live in a society full of body dysmorphia, who holds the standards of beauty. You know what I'm saying? Who's judging and making real beauty the lower of standards of nature. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So when we look at a society like that, man, it's like what do we teach out the next generation? How do we teach the next generation who's already feeling what we feeling mentally at that age and can process what it is they feel and can tell you probably better than most adults what they have going on? They just don't want you. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Absolutely.
right.
So if they feeling at their age and they know what we know now, what do we show? What are we supposed to show them? Only thing that we can show them that works is realness.
Well, I think that this generation and this day and age, they're a lot more smarter and equipped than we were.
Right.
It was so easy for us to feel different and for us to feel left out and us to feel, separate, um, because we did not know how to um, discuss what was going on. We did not know how to discuss, hey, I'm not hyper and bad. I'm hyper and unable to retain and focus information
Yeah.
because, like we weren't able to have those type of discussions at our age and that's because our parents weren't able to have those discussions at our age. And that's because their parents weren't able to. So I think that there has been some evolution and
Mm-hmm.
progress in at least one, having resources for that, and two, diagnoses have come a long way. Misdiagnoses have too,
Yeah.
but diagnoses have come a long way. And I think that the pushback with that comes with people from the previous generations. We always get in our own way.
Yeah.
Coming from the previous generation saying, I don't want to hear that you're just such and such, or they're just using that over. No, we use things like, the moment you hear about a mass killer or a serial killer, something like that, we used to be like, oh, they're just serial killers.
Yeah.
It wasn't that they're psychopathic and that's a mental health issue, and it was they're a killer. And
Yeah.
that, yes,
Mm-hmm.
indeed, they are a killer, but there is a chemical imbalance
Yeah.
that causes that, and we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that there's
Mm-mm.
something inside of them that isn't like you and I, that they acted on, and it was strong. The impulse was strong because we've all had the impulse to want to do something harmful to someone else.
Yeah.
We've all been, but we don't act on it. We also have the self control to not act on it. And everyone does not have that, and everyone's environment is different. And we also don't accept that environments also contribute to behaviors.
Yeah,
We can accept them when we see things like, oh, they were in a domestic violence situation, and so they shot the husband. But we
yeah,
can't accept it when, oh, they lived in a neighborhood where all they saw was drug dealing and nobody got out of it, and so they became a drug dealer. And part of that comes with, you know with everything that comes with going down the wrong path. We can accept it, but it's only circumstantial.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's facts. That's fact. Hey,
Right.
how old is the baby, cat?
She will be 4 months on the
Oh,
15th.
what?
She talks. You see, she's articulate.
Hey,
Congrats.
congratulations, congratulations over there.
Thank you.
She sound like she gonna, oh, she about to have your words. I give it
She's
two
supposed
years.
she's supposed to be burping. And all this she's trying to get on conversation. She's supposed to be burping.
She out there talking. My, can I help you? Girl, you ain't. Oh, you don't go to bed. Shorty, stop plug faking. Go ahead to put something else on TV for you. Uh, yeah, nah, that's dope, Cat. I'm happy for you. I know everybody had things going on, but I was like, we gotta get back on. We gotta get back on and talk about some things. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah, because I'm waiting for us to get on to the real talk that we said we was getting on. Because listen, this right here is the topic in itself.
I mean, let's go. So, like, man, where you at? Like, so how you living?
We bringing up diagnosis because I got new ones.
I already know I know the big one right now. I'm
Right.
pretty sure.
It is
I know
whipping
it.
my ass. Postpartum is
Yeah.
whipping my ass. I was like, all right, let me get on here and show them what I'm looking like right now. Then I said, no, I ain't even ready for that. I was like, let me throw on a wig. I said, no, I ain't even ready.
Nah, but chill. I'm good. Hold up. Not
I
yet.
ain't even ready for that. It is it really is. I think I don't want to pull the gender card, but like women, listen, y'all fellas, please take care of your woman. I mean, even after the child, there is still, I still have I got a 10, I have a 20 and a 10 and a 0-year old. And even having my children 10 years apart, I still feel like I'm suffering postpartum from the last child, from the
Wow.
10-year-old. And it really is a thing. I honestly, I did not deal with my postpartum with the first two, because I was younger in age. But now I've gotten, I've slowed down. I'm older in age, and when I tell you, it's physically kicking my ass, it's mentally kicking my ass, it is emotionally kicking my ass. And then on top of that, I had a girl, and listen, it's different because I had her. For a little while, her hormones was it was kicking my ass along with my own hormones. So I mean, it's definitely an experience that I don't want to experience again because I'm finished making babies.
Once I'm done.
Yeah. To my knowledge, I'm finished making babies. I did promise this basketball player I give him. I'm playing, but but it's different. And men don't understand the same, and it's just like women don't. We don't understand some of y'all's particular hormonal imbalances either. But it is there's I always said that if you want to test your relationship, have a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, for males and for females, you want to test your relationship, and I mean with anybody. I mean with your friends, I mean with your siblings, I mean with your parents. Not just your romantic relationship. You want to test your relationships, have a baby. Oh, I almost lost you there, sis. Have a baby, because I commend I
Okay,
commend my.
Cap. I'm sorry. Hold on. Give me 1 second. y'all can continue the
Look,
conversation. I'm getting her.
you want to test your fan base.
Right there you go. Look at it all.
um, but But yeah, I commend my friends for sticking it out through me in um my emotional states sometimes, because they vary, they differ, and they cause me to do um things that I normally would not do.
I feel you on that. And I feel like I'm such a not just an empathetic person, but I'm such a what is it called? Attentive. I'm so attentive that I pick up on stuff like that. Like
Mm,
I already know. I ain't gonna say I know because I haven't physically felt having a child or postpartum or whatever like that. But I can only imagine the physical strain that it is to carry a child inside of your stomach for 9 months. You losing appetite, mood, everything is changing, and plus you're bringing a life into this world. So it's like everything that you feel about you have to put on the back burner because you carrying another child. So it's like all this time of suppressing you to worry about the baby, you losing yourself at the same time in a sense. So I can imagine once you had a baby, it's like, okay, now it's a fight to get back to me. I can understand that. So like type of person I am, I understand that. So it's like me, give me the baby. You go out if you want to go out have self care day, or you need self care days, or you need a weekend, whatever. Go do that. I got the baby because that's the least I can do as a father on my side. That or even you know what I'm saying whatever. Knowing that you done carried this child with you for 9 months, you know what I'm saying? While I'm out, I'm living my best life out here. Like, yeah, I'm about to be a daddy, but guess what? I ain't carrying the baby. So I feel like the least I can do is like, okay, take some of that pressure off you once the baby gets here. And I feel like a lot of guys may not understand that, but yeah, that's just me. That's just me.
So with my situation, it wasn't, oh, I need you, or it isn't, I need you to take her from me, because that's anxiety in itself. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It really is anxiety in
Where
itself.
you going, my baby? Where you going?
Right. That it no, no, really. Especially, my daughter's a nursing daughter. I mean, a nursing baby. So there's so much pressure in all of it. There's so much
mm,
pressure in breastfeeding. There's so much pressure in 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 carrying a baby. And not that they consider me a geriatric pregnancy because I'm older. So
mm,
there's so much pressure in, my other two, I snap back. There's
yeah.
there's there's me not feeling like myself, because
Mm,
I always been on the good looking side. So there's mentally, I don't feel the same. There was a lot of, my body went through a whole lot physically when I carried her, because I'm old. I'm not gonna lie, I'm older. My bones hurt.
mm,
I don't have Megan knees no more. Um, and and I don't just mean Megan knees. I mean Megan lower back. Megan ankles. you know what I'm saying? You know, I ain't got my Megan six pack no more. Like all of those things, and if there's ever, the time where you realize, like, hey, not only did I change in age, but I physically changed. I am not. This is a true testament that I am not the same person, literally, that I
yeah.
was when I had my first child at 20, and I am not the same person, literally, that I was when I had my second child at 30. And having a third child at 40, I am not physically, not mentally, not emotionally. I'm not the same person. So um realizing that I have let go of my older self, my younger self, I'm sorry, all of those things is a journey in itself. Don't get me started on the anxieties that I feel, because I already, my diagnoses are ADHD, anxiety, and depression. So
Mm,
all of those things are heightened. My ADHD heightens my anxiety. It heightens my depression, because I'm hyper fixated on some things,
mm,
and some of those things are negative things, things that raise my anxiety. So
mm,
having a little girl, and it's different when I had little boys. It was like, oh, they're tough, and culturally and society based, I'm like, okay, with things look different for them because they're boys. Like I don't know what that looks like. But
Yeah,
as a female, I'm sitting here like one day she's going to have to go through this, and Lord, please don't let her go through this. And my thought process and my forward thinking and my intuition for over her is completely different than it was over my sons. And my anxiety is a lot
facts.
higher. Females are way more vulnerable than boys, as vulnerable as boys are as well, not to exclude them. But
Yeah,
females are way more vulnerable. It's a different type of. Now I see why fathers be like, I got my shotgun ready. Because listen, me and God got to have a conversation. You play with mine. Like, I
yeah.
waited
No,
all my
for real
life for
though.
this little girl. I
No,
waited all my life for this
I'm
little
the most
girl.
positive person in the world. Don't play with man. I ain't
There
even
you
got
go.
me
Yeah.
on one yet. I ain't even got me on one yet. Don't even play with that. Don't
That's
even
what
play
girls
like
were
that.
created. So that's what girls were created to do. But I think that's that the having a. I was laughing when Clyde was talking because I'm like, bro, you got the perspective of a young man with no kids, and it's fair. Keep it, all right? And
Mhm.
but in the space that comes with that, right, it gets more complicated, and I think because it can last for a very long time, right? And then so
Absolutely.
when I realized my wife was going through postpartum, and she was going through it maybe 2 years after my daughter was born. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my other kid's mom, I'm pretty sure. I know my oldest daughter mother had it when she was born for sure. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like my second daughter mom, I'm not really too sure. But what I can tell you is that's the biggest test that like you said, it's not the baby, it's what comes after the baby because now you're exhausted. Now you're your true self. Now you're getting the real me. Now you're getting the short tempered and you know what I'm saying, like and reasonably slow because we have some new things going on and we're adjusting into a space of a life of caring for another life, right? That life is crying, that life is stressful, like Kat said, that mom is already all right. The same way we feel, the same way women feel at times. They can hide a lot better, but that crying, it gets annoying as well. That whining, it gets annoying as well, and things like that. So don't throw in something like college. Now throw in something that you have your relationship is stretched already, right? Did something happen throughout the pregnancy? Something happened before the pregnancy, before you found out. Now you're throwing things on. You're compiling trauma, right? In that space. The test for men comes when, and you have to be emotionally intelligent as a man to navigate that space because if you don't, you would take it personally, right? If you don't,
Yes, I was getting ready to say. I was literally about to say the worst thing that a man could do. My only advice: the worst thing a man can do is is think they understand, not try to understand difference, but think they understand. Like with my, I've been in the place of saying like, stop trying to think for me,
yeah,
and right now I want you to think with me. Stop trying to think
yeah,
for me. I don't need you to think to forward think what you think I'm thinking when and you're missing it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
and
And
it's
you're
all,
pissing me off because you look insensitive because you're missing it, as
and it's coming
opposed
with,
to hey, help think with me. Don't help me think because I'm not
yeah,
incapable,
yeah,
but think with me. Like, hey, let's sit down, let's communicate about this, let's try to talk this through, let's work this out together. Don't try to do it for me, don't try to think for me,
hmm,
because again, I already feel like I've lost part of
yeah,
myself. I already feel like I gotta get back to myself. Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
already feel that way. So it is very, very difficult. And even on top of that, like in my head, I think things that I'm like, yo, what am I thinking? Like, it's so crazy that if I thought I was crazy before, I think I'm psycho. I think I am nuts now because all these hormones that are still going through me, and my body's changing, and nothing is regulated. My chemical balance is imbalanced, and it's still not regulated. And my daughter's about to be 4 months. Like, it's
hmm,
still, I can tell that I'm still not regulated. Again, I'm highly emotionally intelligent, but I
yeah,
but I can tell that I'm still not regulated. And what that looks like for me, which it doesn't look like for everybody, is I withdraw. I shut down, as opposed to some women. Those are the ones that act. They act impulsively. They act,
Mhm. Sorry, y'all.
as opposed to, those are women that accidentally, on purpose, whether it's commit suicide or kill their kid or whatever it may be. And I hate to sound like graphic like that, but
the fact,
and then they come back and say, oh, they were suffering from postpartum depression. And then People don't understand because every individual is an individual and theirs looks different. It doesn't make sense. Some, like you said, when postpartum depression, it does it does trigger traumas, and when you already have trauma, it doesn't do anything but heighten it. It elevates it. Those thoughts that you had of, for whatever maybe they may be worse. So, I say all the time, the worst thing a man can do is try is think that he understands, as
Yeah,
opposed to like, hey, communicate with me, help me, be like you said, be patient with me.
yeah.
Honor the spaces that I'm in, like, and it's hard because y'all are used to seeing us one way, and now you don't know what we're thinking, and we don't either. Unfortunately, we don't either. Y'all don't know what's going on, and we don't either.
And that's the
And,
part
and,
where,
and everyone around us feels the same way, like, oh, she's crazy right now. No, yeah, I am
yeah,
literally. Like, I don't even know what's going on. Like,
yeah,
I'm not. I'm sleep deprived.
mhm, facts.
I'm discombobulated. All of those things. All of those things.
And I think that's all that is real, right? And I think having 6 kids, I kind of understand it a little differently, right? Because men naturally are in a space that we want to fix it, especially if we love you, right? But this space is a space where it's a space that we can't fix. It's a space, like you said, it's a space where you're learning yourself over again. It's a space where you're learning. It's a space where you're growing to accept the new things about yourself and you're in the new space that you're in. Um, and so I think that like that part where we mess up as men in that space is like we like I said, that part of not being patient, taking it personally, not being empathetic, simple or sympathetic to what it is that we're going through. Like we said, we can look and think like we understand, but we don't. But the other side of that is the strength that we have, because they're not the woman. When a woman's in that space, it puts you in like a postpartum space. So how you want to navigate that sometimes when you feel just as bad as the woman? Because when you're both in that space, it's no space of saying like, it's kind of hard for both people to look at it. It's like, you know what? I'm not feeling one today. I got you, baby. I'm gonna give 6. I'll be the 70. You be the 30. Both y'all like, hey, motherfucker, help me. Like, would you help me? I'm tired. I need a break. So it's in a space where you need the support of your family as well, because postpartum is serious. And like you said, like it goes, it creates
It got
uh
go ahead. I about to say, it got to be spread around.
it got to be
No,
spread, bro. It really do, bro, because you have to have, and everyone around has to kind of be empathetic and can't judge, right? The baby hair not done one day. You can't be like, oh, see, the girl had. You have to kind of be in a space of understanding, like, okay, now sis must be tired. You know what I'm saying? Or can I help
Yeah, I
him?
was gonna say, because you better believe that before you criticize me, I done criticized myself about 15 times prior to, and also, like you said, the baby hair not being done, it probably is. Again, like one, I'm tired, I might be tired, but two, I might be in the sunken place. Like, I
Yeah,
might really,
you know,
those are, people don't realize that those are cues. Those shouldn't be judgments. Those should be cues.
but
Those should be cues that say,
yeah,
hey, hey, I'm gonna come over tomorrow. You need some help? Like, my friends, I will say, my friends have done an amazing job. And one, they know I'm not ready to be outside. So they have not been like, you need a break. You need to go outside. And they have not been there because they know I'm not ready for there yet. They know I'm not ready to be outside. Listen, I had her in April, and I'm like, it's germs. There's so much. I never gave a shit about germs with my boy. I never gave a shit. What you said? You licked your hands clean. All right, here, hold the baby. Like, I never gave. But the baby, with COVID, and my,
mm-hmm,
my social anxiety is
mm-hmm,
ridiculous. I did not let her go into my son's basketball games the whole basketball season while when she was born. I let her go to his football games because they're outside. But when I tell you, it was 50 feet at all times from anybody except for the same three people.
uh,
And everybody, let me see the baby. I want to, okay, back up. Here go a picture of the baby. And we
just back up.
outside. And we have, but that's the most I could do because my weight is falling back off, and so I don't feel comfortable, and my clothes are, I'm in between it. Well, I was in between my pregnancy clothes, and and they're too big now, and I mean, it's so many things. Like, a small thing could easily turn into a big thing for me, easily. easily. And when I say me, I'm speaking in terms of like women that are suffering with postpartum. It could
Yeah,
easily turn into, and the worst thing that you can say is it's such a small, it's not that important, or that's irrelevant, or
Nah,
anywho, or or that's not important. Like that is one of the worst things that you could say, or to someone like me right now. Like, again, you already lose your identity in your kids. I say all the time
yeah,
that when I became a mother, and all my life, Devin's known me since I was in like high school,
it's high school.
early. So prior to going into high school, um, my brother went in before me. My brother's a year older than me. So all my life I have been somebody something. You know, he went in elementary school a year before me. By the time I came, it was, oh, it's Chucky's sister. And that was all the way through school. I was, oh, it's Chucky's sister. Or, I went to college and my aunt worked there. Oh, it's Miss Connie's niece. Then I started I had my first, oh, it's Jesse's mom. When I tell you, the only place I get called my name is at work and this show, because outside of that, my identity is described around other people. So
Yeah,
imagine, just delivering a baby, and now it's, oh, such and such, Mina's mom, or such and such. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
my identity, like, that's another space that I struggle in, because I am trying to figure out who I am at the moment my dad wants self. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to just be my kids' moms. Like, I
yeah,
don't, I really
you
don't. Like, but
you
I
are
know I can't.
you.
I know I can't be my 20-year-old Megan Stallion niece in the club South again. I know I
yeah,
can't.
yeah,
I know I can't. I know I can't be the on the varsity basketball team girl no more. So who am I? It is a struggle. Who am I?
Those
Who am
are
I beyond? Who am I beyond my diagnosis? Who am I beyond my
yeah,
kids? Who am I beyond? You know, whoever I'm called with, in retrospect to someone else. Like,
yeah,
I think that's my next chapter. That's how I'm coping with all my things. It's like my next chapter is, at some point in time, I have to get past being somebody else or something, and go find me. I'm sure
that's
that'll be a
real.
now.
whole new diagnosis, because people are gonna be like, oh, she going through something.
You gotta
You
see the episode.
Right.
what I feel
Right.
like. I really feel like all those things, like those can be synonymous. Like it doesn't have to be one or the other, because your cat the mother, your cat the sister, your cat the friend, your cat the loving one, your cat that's beautiful, your cat that is striving for better, whatever. All those things can be true together at one time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't feel like you should like say, I understand trying to find yourself, like, or whatever is like your identity, but don't lose sight of that you're still all of those things.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, you are Cat the mother and a damn good one. Yeah, I'm Cat the sister and a damn good one. Like, all those things can be true, like at the same time. So remember that you're all those things amongst other things. Whatever
yeah,
you feel about yourself, whatever people tell you that you feel positive about yourself. I ain't talking about the negative, where, oh, can't she out like a bitch or whatever. No, I'm saying, like, despite the negative, whatever is positive about you, you can be all of those things at
yeah.
one time.
Thank you so much, Clyde. Thank you. Thank you. And look, I'm
That was,
happy emotional, because that's the kind of shit that make me cry right now. Where before the tears didn't come on this soldier.
I was about to say you was tough. You used to be tough. Yeah, it's different.
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with a
No,
little
that's
tear.
dope. But at the same time, too, like feel it. You know what I'm saying? Where you are, because it's valid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really the only way you're gonna go through that space is and embracing it. It's
Yeah,
a
you don't
process,
have to
man.
get lost. You don't have to get lost in being cat the the sister or cat the mother. You don't have to get lost there, because
Yeah,
you are, because that's just one of the many titles that you carry, and just carry it proudly, because that's who you
yeah,
are. Like,
yeah,
and you are a million things outside of that. Like, I
yeah.
don't know you personally enough to name a million of the things that you are, but you know who you are. You know what you do. You cat the coworker. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are a million different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's facts. It's facts though too, but I understand it. But what Clyde is saying is
I
facts.
definitely understand it.
I
I definitely
understand
understand it.
how you get to that space because when you compile the roles, right, and you compile the illnesses, and then you compile the things that you already gotten through and things of that space, you really start to question like, am I really this person? Am I that? Am I this? Did I ever have that? And so it gets hard to see. It gets sometimes you know you're there, but it gets you don't feel it anymore. And life kind of has
Yeah,
you in a space
yeah.
where you just like, wait a minute, but I still got it. But
Right.
if anybody who's
Especially
naturally,
when you're limited, like, I think it's kind of like when, you okay, you're a football coach, Devs, or basketball. You got them fathers on the sideline that's living vicariously through little Johnny, or you know what I'm saying? And
mhm,
and they want their child to perform like whether it was how they performed or how they wished they had performed. Like that's what life looks like. Like it's all those in retrospect things, like you said, that's looking like, okay, now where am I in here, and what does that look like if I'm not the same if I can't physically do this, then what can I do now? Like
yeah,
if I can't mentally do this, because because when I was 20 I didn't have that trauma, but now that I'm 40 I got that trauma, because you somewhere in between there, something traumatic in that area took precedent over me feeling safe in that space. So, it is absolutely all of those. It literally is like being and living and almost living vicariously through your former self. And
yeah.
and now it's like, what pieces do I hold on to and what parts do I let go of, because I can't keep living through my old self, because that person ain't here no more.
So I wouldn't say you have to live through your old self, right? I would say you keep living, right? And because it's nothing you don't have what's supposed to go is gonna shed anyway, right? And I think that we put more weight on ourselves by thinking like, hey, I gotta get this, I gotta feel this, I gotta no. I think a lot of times, and especially after 40, man, I feel like and my hey, can y'all turn that down, please? Like that 108th time. No, so in a space where you're starting to understand. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
You said after 40, we not
Af-
living vicariously through our old self.
no, I think that if you do that, if you're doing that, you're causing more harm than foul because you're always looking through the eyes of regret and wish, oh man, it's gone, and not realizing and moving in the mindset of no, let me maximize what I have left, right? And as you move into that space of maximizing what I have left, like you start to realize, like for me personally, like bro, like yeah, I can't run the 40 what I used to run before. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not as quick on the court or agile as I used to be, right? But nah, bro, if I can get to a point now where if I work out right, I'm consistent with things, bro, I bust a nigga my age, my size ass. You know what I'm saying? It's different. So you learn to when I learned to compare, not compare, but look at things for what it was, right? It kind of took a lot more pressure off of me because it was like, man, like nah, I can sit back and I can kind of feel it. I can not be happy with myself, right? And I can look back and think of, well, shoot, my man have cancer. You know what I'm saying? Like I had what I had. I was molested when I was a kid, but shoot, my man, he got raped. You know what I'm saying? Like in that space, and it's always just trying to find a balance of, hey, no, appreciating what I've been through, and then getting to the space of, all right, how can I not? My whole thing now in life is just moving and living in a space where I'm not taking in life. I can look at it, acknowledge it, and see what's going on, but it's not going in. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't know how to explain that.
I mean, you gave a good depiction of things. I think that excuse me, I think that some of the I think that anything that we do in trying to cope with whichever place we're at, um, there is always the offset of going into survival mode,
Mhm.
which always kicks us the um, out of the treatment phase. It always kicks us out of the space where we were finally starting to heal. When you retreat back into survival mode, and I think that's the part that for me, I think age did that for me. I think
Yeah, that's
age
fair.
I think age threw me back into, okay, you know what this looked like last time, and you don't have it in you to fight like you did last time because and or the other part of me is like, hey, you got you might have more years, but you might have more years behind you than in front of you, so be careful with these years that you got left, like all of those things that caused you sometimes to stay stagnant
Yeah.
in the place that is unhealthy, wherever that place is,
Mhm.
in the place that's unhealthy. Those things are part of where getting older gets worse. It gets worse as you get older.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But it's. I think for me, it was tied to like expecting, right? And in a sense, we were like, man, I don't expect anything out of life. Life don't owe me anything. But in a sense, for me, it was like, no, I should be here at this point in my life. You know what I'm saying? I seen this for myself. I seen that for myself. I got to this point. But that's all good and great. But then life happens, right? And then you start to realize, like, maybe that was my want, and that was never what I was supposed to have. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying it to you as far as you, Kat. I'm talking about in regards to myself, as far as like just trying to get to a space and be okay. Just to be in the now, right? Just to be mindful, right? And when we talk about mindful, a lot of people know like just being in the moment. That word is thrown around so lightly that you don't really understand the deepness of just being in the moment. When you're in the moment, for me, as an example, it's right now in a space where trying to figure out like, okay, what's coming through as far as contract to contract or job to contract and things like that. When I get into a space of figuring out like, and I think ahead, like what I'm going to do in next month, what I'm going to do in this month, what I'm going to do in next week, what I'm going to do in this space, I take myself out of enjoying the moment and realizing like, bro, like it's nothing I can do about this shit right now. You know what I'm saying? The things that you already done about it, you already put in place. Now all you can do is just stand and just wait. And then, not be idle, but stand in the space. Cloud, you right over there, bro?
No, I'm listening. I'm listening.
No,
It
it's
looked
just
like
like
he was nodding.
he was gone, bro. I had to learn not to be idle and not to work as hard as I could towards something, not to expect anything. And in that space where, and it's not to sound like you don't have any goals and ambitions, I still have goals and ambitions, realizing that life don't owe me anything, and I can want everything that I want. But what happens if I go out here tomorrow and get hit by a truck, and now I don't have my legs? You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Am I going?
Yeah.
Is my quality of life going to be different then because now I'm mad because I don't have no legs. I can't get what I want. It's only It's only making life harder and more difficult for me. But it's hard to get into a space when you're conditioned that the things that we want today, we look at them as needs, right? And my thing where I am as far as like, what do I really need? In a space of like that, and everyone knows how I feel about money. It's not that I hate it, but I know it's needed, right? So my thing is in a space where my prayer right now is God, like, I don't care about money in that space, but bless me in a space that I can help my family and people around me in a space where they don't need it. You know what I'm saying? In that space, because it's I got so attached to money when I was pursuing the things that I was pursuing, not realizing that I had ADHD and not realizing that for those years that I was in college, the reason why the few times I did make the dean's list, I was in such an intense focus that's the side effect of the ADHD, which isn't healthy. So you can't sustain that for too long. And then when you can't do that again as well as you did the last time, you start to think that there's something's wrong with you and not in a space of let me get some treatment, let me get this checked out. So when I got in that space of, like I was telling Clyde earlier, with the ADHD medication and things like that, I was down because I didn't want to have to go back on medication. I told you, you know how I felt about it talking earlier on about the show. So I wanted to get away from that. But then getting into a space now where it's like, okay, no, I watched my son. My son got put on, my youngest son got put on ADHD medication, and I'm watching the difference in him. And I'm like, hey, bro, hey doc, like, let me see that let me try that. Let me see how it works. And after she's been telling me for months that it would be a good idea to get on there. When I got on there, the amount of anxiety that I didn't feel anymore, it was amazing. And it was like the second day. You know what I'm saying? The amount of things that I was able when I write, I can write down 1 or 2 times, proofread it once, and I'm on to the next thing rather than erasing and writing, and then forgetting what you write. Just having that aspect of taking the medication, it took so much off of me that I was able to see that I thought I was moving in a healthy space, but I wasn't.
Yeah,
So,
and the and to play devil's advocate, the downside, it's not a downside. It is not a
Mm,
downside. The opposite side of that is when you were talking about, I think when I came in, you guys were talking about maintaining.
mm-hmm.
People don't realize how hard it is to maintain yourself when you have ADHD. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
maintain your mood, maintain taking your medicine, maintain staying positive, maintain a routine even when you're on your meds. All
mm-hmm.
the things that were difficult are still slightly difficult, because now you think that now you're trying to accomplish everything. You at that point in time become an overachiever. Like, okay, while my meds is on, let me go ahead, like you said, let me go ahead and write this paper, because
Yeah,
I know once this fall off comes on, then I'm not gonna be able to do it. But what else did you have to do today? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Um, and even with like you said, with I when I did my med, so one, while I was pregnant, I took stimulants. I didn't take them while I was pregnant with my daughter.
mm,
They gave me the option to take them, and as the mom that I am, I'm like, nope, not taking them,
yeah, yeah,
because I didn't want to put any chemicals in my body with her. And so that again, maintaining it. So all the things that I was capable of doing when I was on my meds, it looks totally different throughout my pregnancy when I was off my meds, down to like even just staying awake,
yeah,
because when you're on a stimulant, it's the equivalent to taking like an upper. So,
yeah,
it's hard to fall asleep. And somebody like me, most people with ADHD are night owls anyways, because it's hard to fall
yeah.
asleep. Our brain never stops working. It never
So
stops going.
that's when it gets difficult, right?
Yeah.
Because with the ADHD and bipolar, bipolar comes the mania and the hypomania, which is
Yes.
triggered by the ADHD medication sometimes. So finding that
Yes.
balance, because like you said, the medication, I'm on Adderall, so the Adderall it give me like intense focus, all this energy. But then if I don't make sure,
Wings. It's like
man,
it's like a Red Bull on speed. Like,
you know what I'm saying? And you really got to get to a space where you got to say, you know what, you really got to pay attention to what time you take it. You really got to get to a space of understanding your body and how you react to it. Because having bipolar, if I don't take the money, so I had an appointment with my doctor yesterday, and she brought some things to attention that I should have been concerned about that I wasn't really catching. And it wasn't no concern, and it wasn't like a drastic concern. It was like, hey, just make sure you're getting some good sleep at night, because I don't want you. I know you. A lot of things sound like your anxiety is inducing from it, but it could just be a part of the medication. So it really listening to the doctor's orders, making sure that balance is in order. Because for me, if I don't take that, and the mania for me is not a bad thing, right? But after a while, that crash still comes, and the crash still feels
right.
horrible.
Yes,
So
it does. So imagine, so the mania for you, and for me, it triggers my depression. So the crash
mhm,
triggers my depression. And then if I try to do things, like the best I could do is, like, I'm breastfeeding my daughter, so I can't take it still. I still don't take it.
yeah, yeah.
So imagine someone like me who thrives in being productive,
Mm-hmm.
and I have all these, and I have ambition in being productive, and when I don't feel like I'm productive because I can't retain my whatever information I'm getting, or I can't stay focused, like, now that turns into self doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Now my depression is kicking in, or my anxiety. Oh my goodness, I got deadlines coming up. Oh my God, what is that gonna look like? Blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Now I look like a procrastinator, because I'm hyper fixating on the what ifs that I'm literally standing still. Like,
Yeah.
I'm hyper fixating on moving forward, and I'm standing still.
It's
And
paralysis.
then
It gives you mental
it
paralysis.
does,
It's
it
like,
does. And
yeah,
then and then now my emotions kick in, because I have depression, because now I start feeling, that my self-esteem starts to change.
mm-hmm.
So there's that part. And then on top of it, uh, now it's interrupting with my mood, and my household,
Mm-hmm.
and my relationship, and my work performance. And now here I go again, feeling
Mm-hmm.
bad about myself or talking down about myself. And then I'm like, okay, take the medicine. So one, most ADHD medicines, you fall off of them because they're stimulants. They have a short, they have a lifespan of it.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, you got to take it at certain times. You take it and then it falls off before your day is over. Now you got to take a second dose. And you
Yep.
don't get to tell the ADHD medicine, like, all right, I'm ready to go to bed, turn off. You know what I'm saying? Now you're up all night thinking about the things you could have got done that you didn't get done. Then when it falls off, your crash is like it goes
It's,
from it's like turning a car on and then turning it off, like shutting
yeah.
down, you're not moving, literally like that. And so now when everybody else is moving around on regular time, you're on ADHD time, and you're
Yeah.
like, I can't do that. Like it's so complicated. The ADHD by itself. Let's skip the bipolar. Let's skip my depression. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let's skip the ADHD by itself is a horrible position. It is a
Yeah.
horrible position. It and it the some when you have ADHD and anxiety,
Yeah.
it's even worse because anxiety and ADHD have extremely similar
Yeah.
characteristics. And a lot of times kids get misdiagnosed with ADHD and they really have anxiety.
Anxiety.
And because
Yeah.
and because that misdiagnosis comes and they're not treated, now they've got depression. Like this is where it gets so tricky that sometimes in trying to fix
True.
one thing, you break something else.
Yep.
So
So
far.
it's just so difficult when you're dealing with either one of those two and the bipolars. Now you bring in bipolar, where
Mm-hmm.
where 1 second you could be okay, and the next second you don't know why you're not okay, and now
Yeah.
you're spiraling, or your mania comes in and you don't know how long it's going to last, and
Yeah.
now
Right.
and then now you're spiraling. Now you're spiraling, and you can't refocus yourself because you can't be like, okay, come out of this, go take your meds, get your, you know what I'm saying? Like all of
Yeah.
this is so horrible. It's such sometimes it's
It's torture.
so it's so overwhelming, and it can be overwhelming to the people that are around you. You know, I know my kids get tired of me like fussing about dumb shit. Pick this such and such up, get this such and such, because I'm in rush mode. I'm rushing them. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I
I know
got you.
that I my 20-year-old, we just got to a space where like we talk about everything now because since I've had the baby, I can't do nothing. So I get to take the time to relax. So
Yeah.
he's like, Ma, I really wish that growing up we would have talked more. I think that it would have been so much easier on me. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, I was in survival for all them years. Like I was
Yeah.
rushed and overworked and overwhelmed
Yeah.
and under excited. Like I was so many things for all them years, and like it really took a toll on my son. And now guess what, he has his own mental health issues
Mm-hmm.
because of the way that the things that I didn't get treated in time enough. So I mean, it's so difficult being someone with, I'm sure, with any diagnosis, but ADHD is a diagnosis I don't wish on anybody.
Yeah. It's
You
it's
forget
torture.
to eat sometimes, like you
Yeah.
forget to eat sometimes, or you overeat, like you forget to hydrate yourself because
You
it
know.
physically can take a toll. You forget to drink.
You know what's the hardest thing, bro? Like living with other people. Like you
Yeah.
got, I have ADHD. My wife has it. My son has it. And I'm pretty sure my baby has it. You know what I'm saying? So in the kid space, you're going up in a space where the last one sleep, the first one up, right? And then when
Hmm.
they're up, they got a buku energy. You got to watch what they're
Hmm.
taking in as far as their sugar intake and things like that, right? And the
Hmm.
other side of it is when you have the house is like always in a disarray because if
Hmm.
everyone's kind of all right, what I'm doing is cleaning up is irritating in that space because that's not how they clean. So therefore,
Yeah.
it's just a weird. It's just you just got to learn how to work together, and it teaches me so much about patience in the space, and it makes me look around. When I look at society, I can see that, especially in this younger generation, this middle school age, elementary school age kids. Elementary school probably not impacted as bad. I'm seeing some differences in these kids that I interact with on a daily basis. But more the high school kids and the late middle school kids that were stuck in that space where COVID hit and they were watching like the phones all the time and they stuck on short videos, 30-second videos. They don't have their attention span. Watching it now, I think that we develop a generation of kids that's suffering from ADHD, and when you say it's not even a suffering, because I honestly don't think ADHD is a disease. I think it's triggered by the environment and school age. I think it's triggered in the space of the environment that the school environment isn't fit for these kids to learn. There's been studies that prove that. You know what I'm saying? Like kids aren't built to learn while sitting down for 8 hours a day. Kids learn by touching, feeling, smelling, interacting, falling, and you know what I'm saying, like, and making mistakes. Where we've developed a society where we create the fear off of them.
It's absolutely that, but you also have to remember that I think what you're saying is that we are training them into ADHD, which I definitely can see where that's coming from.
Yes.
But you also have to think about the things, and we've had this conversation before. ADHD is chemical too, and we're looking at things like canned foods. People don't know. People think it's sugar that causes ADHD. It ain't. Because if you really know, they're giving you caffeine when you have ADHD. A stimulant is nothing but caffeine, which translate in food as sugar. You know what I'm saying? So that's actually the offset of ADHD is more things that that would give you. But this is how you know that caffeine's bad. That caffeine is not what makes your body move more. It actually helps to do the opposite. When when your regular energy is what makes you go forward. But on top of that, you have to think that our society is one big drive through. It really is. Everything is conveniently at the touch of a button. I don't even listen. I told you my social anxiety is high. I have not been in the grocery store, department store, hell, gas station in almost a year, because everything that I could do walking inside the store with all these people waiting on me, I can do and go pick it up or have it delivered to me. And we live in one big drive-through or delivery carry out. Like we do, everything is right there with this our society. You know what I'm saying? US culture. One, we're losing those endorphins and the dopamine that we get from interacting with people. Because if you notice, this why we're sitting here like, why these damn kids walk around here with these hoodies on? And because we've created a bunch of introverts. They have gotten comfortable with being by themselves. Teenagers in particular, most teenagers, not so much females, but most boys, or even a lot of girls, they want to be in the room. They want to be in the room on their phone, watching, like you said, watching these quick YouTubes, whatever it may be. Their kids don't go outside anymore.
Yeah. That's true.
We are creating the very thing that we are trying to heal, that we are trying to cope with, that we are trying to medicate. We are creating those environments. We're creating environments that are fostering ADHD. We're creating environments that are fostering anxiety. My anxiety is being enabled in a sense because I don't have to go in a store, because instead of me having to be social, all I gotta do is at the push of a button, I can scroll on my phone and figure out what I want. I can price match all that. I don't have to go in the store and bump into Jenny that I used to go to high school with. Like, I don't have to do that.
Facts, though.
That's facts, right? But I'm gonna say, like, I'm gonna say that, like, we're gonna finish this conversation probably next week. We getting down to I've been running all day, coaching all day. I'm ready. I'm ready to take it down, right? But you made some excellent points. But the part where I was saying, like, I think it's more environmental is because if we're getting away from more the naturalistic side of society, and where back in the day when we were farming and things like that, that stuff was different. We were actively moving around. When I also said in the space of when it comes to how we're grooming these kids is that when it comes to television and things like that, the image repetition that these kids are seeing and getting, they're automatically being programmed into a space, but they don't even realize what they're getting. I use that in the sense of, what's his name? Pavlov, wasn't it Pavlov, the psychiatrist that was trying to
Pavlov.
So when you take that to that basic society, the same thing is happening in society all around us, from the internet to the phones to the people talking, the people interacting. These are all dings, dings, time to eat, dings, time to do this, go play. You're on a schedule. You don't even realize what what you've been conditioned to do. But we can get into that next conversation. I gotta get to bed, y'all. I'm happy y'all doing.
Absolutely. The baby just fell asleep, so this is my time to shine.
No, I appreciate y'all hopping on. We're gonna do this again, man. It was good hearing from y'all. I can't wait to hop on the next one to get the topic over the next couple of days.
All right, fellas. Have a good evening.
All right, now, y'all.
Peace. Peace.